So update on the divider piece. So I would recommend, just in case, having some type of a saw or something like a Dozuki. This isn't a Dozuki, I don't think, but I should know the name of that, but Dozuki blade or some of that, as well as a miter box, just in case you do need to adjust that a little bit. We'll also find out later, maybe I did something horribly wrong here, but it seems like that was improperly sized. So just keep that in mind, and on to the next step. So I wanted to touch on the center portion a little bit. So we've got this center support or whatever it's called. So first I had to adjust it slightly. So I don't know if that was expected or not, or if that's installed in an unexpected way. The other thing as well is that you definitely do want to use your drill to do pilot holes there. So that'll remove some of the material so that it won't split out. So, okay, so the next step that we had here is the vise that goes onto the side. That installs fairly quickly and fairly easily. There is a mention of, once again, using the hex tool to tighten items, but it all seems to be screws here, and nothing in particular seems to be loose. So that seems to have gone in properly. There may be some other item that we'd want to tighten up later on, or make sure that's in there properly. But as of right now, that seems okay. So the step that we're on now is the handle to the front panel. So this is the P16. One of the things I wanted to point out here is that it appears that this would be the correct way to do it. So here we've got the edges of the drawer, here we've got the screws going on, and here we have the handle. Here we have the slot that's going to be for the bottom of that cabinet. So just keep that in mind, is at least the way that it's looking, these stickers might be upside down. So don't let that throw you off. So we're now well underway with the drawer assembly. And so there's a couple of things to note here. First of all, you want to make sure that everything's as best lined up as you can. You can see that there's these slots. So there's the slot down there. Should be lined up with the slot here and here. That's going to be for the drawer bottom. And then you're going to be finishing this out by attaching this, the drawer back, per the instructions. That should be kind of like lined up with the top. So that way the drawer bottom can just kind of slide in the back. So it's worth noting that the back can actually go in before the bottom. So hopefully with these steps, they'd be going pretty well for you if you've gotten the hang of it. Just worth noting that this is a number of steps where you do want to be careful, make sure you've got everything lined up properly. But this is what the finished drawer is going to look like. So it's going to look like that. Just slid in the bottom there. There's that back piece. But generally, it's kind of put together okay. One of the things to note is I did notice with a number of the things like the screws on the side, so kind of like these ones right here, those aren't always consistently in the same location. So just keep that in mind when you're actually setting it up, that some of them will be aligned in one way, and then you might look on the other side and they might be on slightly different points. So just worth noting that. So I did want to touch on another step with the drawers. So with the drawers, you should actually have these screw holes that are on the bottom there. So you will want to get those screwed in and make sure that those are properly attached so that they will support the weight properly. But at this point, you're free to right over your table so that it will be aligned properly and give those drawers a try. And we will check and see what that's like. So here I've got an example of one of the drawers in there. So if you do notice that some of the gliders seem a little bit weird or don't seem to be a little bit funky or don't seem to be aligning properly, that's okay. It just is what it is. So you may need to get replacement gliders for some of them, or there may be some that won't work properly. So just keep that in mind. Don't get too frustrated. But as far as the overall result and what you've just gotten for $170, I mean, there you go. You've got a workbench. And one of the things that I definitely say about this is that it's a flat surface that you can use. It's got the peg slots. It also has the clamp. All of these are kind of key things for just having a basic workbench. And also on top of that, it's kind of a project in and of itself. So just going through that is going to give you a little bit of a reminder of what it is to put something together and to build something, and to have things that maybe you want to keep an eye out for when you're actually doing your projects and stuff like that. So I'm going to do a little bit of stuff with that. This is probably going to be one of my go-to items that I'll be using. So hopefully I'll be able to get some good use out of it. And I might do a long-term update later on, but I really hope that was useful for some people. And if you're looking for a workbench and you just need to stay on a budget, for $170, this is a very good option. It's essentially this, or just using a standard regular bench, something that's doesn't have these additional things that are really handy for woodworking. So I really hope that these videos were helpful for people. If you do have any questions or anything like that, let me know. And I'd love to hear your guys' responses. If you guys don't like these benches, let me know. If it's something where you'd really recommend the Rockler benches or anything like that, I'd love to get feedback. For the price, this is a great starter one. I'm sure that if you want to have a long-term one, you may end up upgrading, but also maybe you can use this to make your own workbench. So, all right, have a good one.